This week for By the Numbers, we'll be looking at the orders available to the Imperial Guard, when to use them, and the effects they have during battle. Only models with the Voice of Command ability are able to issue orders. Orders must be issued to infantry units with the same regiment keyword as the unit issuing the order within 6 inches. Each order affects only one unit. Tank orders can only be given by a tank commander to Lehman Russ tanks. Additionally, certain regiments have access to specialized orders from their commanders, called Regimental Orders. Some of these Regimental Orders are tank orders and can only be issued by a tank commander. So which units can give orders? Lord Castellan Creed has Voice of Command, and also has Supreme Commander, meaning his Voice of Command ability has a range of 12 inches and he can use the ability 3 times per turn. This is insanely good and means Creed will continue to hold the reputation of strategic genius for the rest of 8th edition. Of course, it means you will be playing Acadian Force. Cadia still stands, for now. The company commander is a good choice if you're being points conscious, and are only interested in the orders. Creed costs 70 points and the company commander only 30, or don't want to play Acadian Regiment. It has the senior officer ability, meaning they can give 2 orders per turn, which is still pretty good. For commanding tanks, the tank commander can issue orders to any regimental Lehman Russ tank. They can only issue 1 order and only to 1 model, however the tank orders are pretty powerful. He does come with a tank of his own as well. Knight Commander Pask comes with a better tank, higher leadership, and the ability to issue 2 tank orders each turn thanks to the Knight Commander ability. He's Acadian Tank Commander, so again you'll be restricting your tanks to being Acadian Regiment. Colonel Ironhand Strachan is excellent paired with Catachan regiments, having the senior officer ability and a few other nice perks when coordinated with his Catachan forces. A Tempesta Prime has the Voice of Command ability with the Militarum Tempestus regiments, and can use the ability twice in each turn as per the Tempestus Command Rod ability. They also come with the Aerial Drop ability that lets them deploy anywhere more than 9 inches away from the enemy at the end of a movement phase. Platoon commanders are less impressive than the prior mentions, and only have the basic Voice of Command ability. They're still useful for getting as much coverage as possible, so that as many units can use orders as possible. A special mention to Colour Sergeant Kell, who while unable to issue orders himself, has the ability Listen Up, Maggots, which allows a friendly Acadian officer within 6 inches to issue an additional order. Combined with Creed, you could issue 4 orders a turn, which can seriously buff your guardsmen. Now, let's look at the orders themselves, starting with the Astra Militarum orders, available to all regiments. Take Aim. Take Aim allows you to re-roll hit rolls of 1 for all the models in the ordered unit until the end of the shooting phase, hopefully letting you score some extra hits. First rank, fire. Second rank, fire. This gives lasguns and hotshot lasguns in the ordered unit the ability to change their type to rapid fire 2 until the end of the phase. This gives them 4 shots of rapid fire within 12 inches. This can be devastating for the enemy, especially if you're giving orders to multiple squads forming a firing line. Bring it down! This is similar to Take Aim, but allows the unit to instead re-roll wound rolls of 1. Forwards for the Emperor! This allows a unit to advance and fire, letting your foot soldiers have a lot more mobility than usual. Get back in the fight! This order allows the unit to fire even if it fell back out of melee combat that turn. This is really good for units that get engaged by a lucky charge and need to get out of there. Move, move, move! Replaces your shooting phase with a full advance. Note, the unit must advance as part of this order and cannot declare a charge this turn. It's really good if you find a unit totally out of position for the action that's about to come and you need to relocate it immediately. Fix bayonets! This order can only be issued to units that are currently in melee. They get to attack as if they were in the fight phase during the shooting phase, creating a turn of seriously bloody melee. So, which orders should you use, and when? Let's compare each order. Let's look at Take Aim and Bring It Down. Personally, I find Take Aim to be better, as if you get more hits, you have more of a chance to get wounds. Therefore, it affects both hit and to wound stages of shooting, while Bring It Down only gives you an advantage in the latter. First Rank, Second Rank is an excellent ability and is an obvious choice over Take Aim. However, you can only use it on units with las guns, so Take Aim is still a viable option depending on the scenario. But First Rank Fire is my personal favourite, as I like to field large swaths of infantry squads sitting behind fortifications. Forwards for the Emperor is actually really good. It can get your units in range and firing before the enemy gets shots off, giving you the initiative. It can also be used to capture objectives or tactical positions before your opponent without compromising your combat ability. Again, placed against the other options, it comes down to scenario. Is double movement going to significantly help your position versus dealing an extra wound against an enemy unit? Get Back in the Fight is good as it allows your units to retreat out of melee and utilize their weapons in the same turn. Personally, I think you should be keeping your guardsmen out of melee in the first place, but if the tide turns against you, it can be good to hold the line. Move, Move, Move is not very useful in a standard game, since you can use forwards for the Emperor instead, and you're not going to want to rush one or two units way ahead of the rest of your force. You could use it to move an army quickly without using transports, and it could be good for Armageddon games where you're playing on a huge table. I both love and hate fixed bayonets, as it involves units getting into melee with the enemy, my least favourite way to play Imperial Guard, while at the same time being one of the most badass orders to yell. If you have the advantage in melee combat, then by all means, fix bayonets and murder them. If not, this is basically just condemning your units to a rapid and bloody death. Better to use Get Back in the Fight, in my opinion, but I understand that not all regiments are built around the philosophy of death by 1,000 flashlights. Now, let's look at Regimental Orders. The first order is Acadian Tank Order, Pound Them to Dust. This allows you to re-roll the dice when determining how many attacks your turret weapon makes. This is awesome, as it lets you get the most out of your tank units, and can maximize the damage being dealt out. The next order is the Catachan Burn Them Out Order, which allows you to re-roll when determining how many attacks Flamers make, and eliminates their saving throw bonus for cover this turn. This makes Flamers excellent assault weapons, and again, a highly valuable order. The Valhallan Regiment, order Fire on My Command, allows your men to fire into melee, hitting your own troops on a 1. My ideal regiment order. If you're stupid enough to get into melee and not run away, you can suffer the risk of getting gunned down. The Vostroyan order is Repel the Enemy. Until the end of the phase, the unit can fire its ranged weapons while within 1 inch of the enemy, but they must target enemy units they are in close combat with. This way you don't have to retreat to melt them with las guns. The regiments of Armageddon have Mount Up, which allows them to shoot and then get into a transport as long as they are within 3 inches. You cannot do this in the same turn they dismounted, however. This means your units will still spend a turn outside their vehicle, but will let them get in an extra round of shooting. I can think of some specific scenarios where this would be helpful, such as a fighting retreat. The Talon regiments have a tank order, Get Around Behind Them, which lets the ordered model move 6 inches either before or after it shoots. Useful for closing into firing range on a unit you couldn't quite reach, or blocking line of sight on a unit at the end of your shooting phase. With proper coordination and strategy, this can be a very strong order. Militarum Tempestus officers can give the order Elimination Protocol Sanctioned, which allows you to reroll all failed wound rolls made against vehicles or monsters. Good for guaranteeing large Tyranid monstrosities go down. Finally, the Mordian regiment can issue Form Firing Squad, which allows the ordered unit to target characters with their rapid-fire weapons, like snipers. A pesky warlord happened to step within 12 inches? What an awful mistake. Correct use of orders is what can turn a battle in your favour, and are one of the most powerful tools available to a general of the Astra Militarum. I recommend memorizing the orders you can give, so that you can make quick decisions and eradicate the foes of the Emperor without hesitation. This way you can also incorporate orders into your battle strategy, moving units into positions to best benefit from your orders. I wish you all luck in your battles. Go and make the Imperium proud. As the Emperor protects, so must we.